My loneliness ain't killing me, 'cause I've got 3 kids always screaming.
You know, there's this idea being pushed in society at the moment, guys, and it goes something like this. You're not a real man if you don't want to take care of another man's children. And you got all these single mothers out here losing their minds, absolutely fuming because men are not committing to them anymore, because men are actually choosing their own peace of mind. Now, full disclaimer here, gentlemen, this is not a single mother that we're looking at right now, but this is one of the many examples why men are choosing to walk away and not deal with women who have children. So let's continue with the clip.
When I am with them, I lose my mind. Please send some wine, so I don't do no jail time.
And the funny part about this is, guys, is that men are starting to wake up and not be shamed into these relationships. You know, you've got all these girls out here with children and the father's not in the picture. Maybe she's kicked him out of the picture. Maybe he had no desire to be with her at all, okay? But these ladies are making absolutely terrible dating decisions. And it remains for the good guys to come along and pick up the pieces for these girls. And a lot of men are saying, no, thank you. But we're going to be jumping into today's second clip here momentarily. And thank you guys for submitting these videos as we continue on.
Get this bike going in 6 kicks or less. You do not have to paint on Saturday.
Okay.
Deal?
I want you guys to notice, right, just the way this dynamic is set up, okay? So she, right off the bat, has said to this guy, if you can get the bike started in 6 kicks or less, you don't have to do a chore. I'm so sick of seeing this crap, guys, where, you know, all these things are demanded of men, right? Because what happens is these ladies will have children, right? And they'll either kick the guy out of the picture, take his money, or, you know, the guy won't stick around or something like that. And all this comes down to terrible dating decisions. So let's look at it. Let's look at what happens afterwards. Ladies typically have to get a guy who will come along and do all the handyman chores for them. Now, this guy is in charge of fixing the bike and painting something that we don't know. But just notice how it is this guy's job to pretty much do the chores around the house for this girl that she can't do. See, a lot of girls, when they're looking for a guy with integrity, a guy who's generous and all this stuff, what they're really looking for, they're not looking for a, you know, for a husband. They're not really looking for a husband. What they're looking for is a handyman. So let's continue on.
Yeah. Do I got to shake on it?
Yeah, shake.
Okay.
Shake. Come
It
on.
could be a TikTok video.
No, you can't
That's
say that.
bullshit.
You're not cool if you say that. Come on.
See, just notice the shaming in these dynamics, gentlemen. You know, you're not cool if you say that, right? You need to get this started in this many goes, or else you have to do the painting. Or it's like, why does this man have to do any of this stuff for you? You know? And this is something that a lot of dudes will accept because, hey, maybe she's... guys will convince themselves, oh, she's the one, or she's the only one I'm ever gonna get. So they'll allow themselves to be put in situations where they're just totally disrespected. I hate these little, like these little dynamics we see all the time, where women just, like, they throw in these little shaming tactics and dudes are just supposed to put up with it.
On 6. Let's see if you're painting. Oh, it's going to be so fun. Now we're going to count them down.
These aren't kicks. These are compression
I don't know.
strikes.
They're looking like kicks.
They're not kicks.
You're already up to
compression
12.
strikes. No, I'm not.
Okay, go.
It's 6.
All right. 1.
It started.
No.
Compression strikes. You gotta find compression strikes. 6.
If you can get this bike going in 6 kicks or less.
See, man, these are the kind of dynamics that you will see a lot in a lot of relationships, right? Where, like, dudes are not necessarily the father, or she's got a guy in her life to come along and play the fixer-up role, right? We've seen this in many videos where a lot of these girls, what they're actually doing is they'll tell these dudes, oh, I love you and all this kind of stuff, and so what if the bedroom fun falls out of the relationship very quickly? Because a lot of the times when girls get men like this in their lives, what they're actually doing is they're not getting someone that they're attracted to. They're not getting someone that they quote-unquote love. what they're doing is they're getting a guy that they can manipulate into doing household chores for them. Now, we don't know these people's full backstory here, gentlemen, but I kind of want to, use this video in particular that one of you guys have sent as an example of all this kind of crap that men are expected to do. And shout out to him for giving the middle finger at the end. But let's continue onwards to the next video.
When I make dinner, nobody sees that. When I do the laundry, nobody sees that. When I do the dishes, nobody sees that. When I clean the house, nobody sees that. But when I sit down to be on my phone,
the funny part
when I
about
make
these
dinner,
videos,
nobody.
it's like this sort of stuff, right? Is if you saw yesterday's video, there were two women, I believe, sitting on steps saying, men need to appreciate us more. They need to appreciate us for the things that we do. And the interviewer, shout out to the It's Complicated channel, he asked, what things do you want to be credited more for doing? What more do men need to be doing that they aren't doing already? And a lot of these women don't have an answer. Okay, they want to pretend like girls will get into marriages and stuff like that where the guy is working a 9 to 5, right? He's working his absolute behind off to provide for the family. And maybe she's a stay-at-home mother, so she's taking care of kids and cleaning the house. So during the day, the kids generally aren't there, and she has to clean the house, cook, and do chores and stuff like that. And they want to make it out as though it's the most difficult task in the world, right? But these girls, notice how they're not the ones working the 9 to 5s, breaking their back to bring home the money for the family. Okay, a lot of dudes, given the opportunity, would actually be stay-at-home fathers. Right, because how it works is this is a much easier role than being out there working the 9 to 5. I don't care what the ladies say, man. Oh, it's so hard. You don't see what we do all around the house. A lot of men these days are single by choice, right? They've got their job and they're living in an apartment and all that, and they don't need, like, they can look after themselves just fine. Girls want to pretend that oh, men wouldn't survive without us. They wouldn't be able to do anything without us. And you've got all these men in 2021 saying, you know what, screw relationships. I'm just going to live by myself. And they're doing perfectly fine. It's actually the funniest thing, right? Because girls will act as if their actions are so invaluable around the house. Like, oh, the husband wouldn't cope without me. Meanwhile, they're the ones surviving on his paychecks, okay? And oftentimes they're her children, not his, right? And what they're doing is they're living lives that they have no business living, all the while complaining about the man that's providing it to them. It's absolutely crazy, guys. And we're going to continue on to today's next video, but we're going to momentarily take a break, guys, because I forgot to do the intro. But what is going on, gentlemen? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video, and we're going to be going through a bunch of these clips as well as some Reddit stories that you guys have submitted. Before we continue onwards, gentlemen, make sure you come and join the Discord and the locals links in the description. Both of those are totally free to join, and if anything happens to the channel in the future, if our YouTube overlords decide to get rid of this channel, you will be notified through those two links. But guys, we're going to be jumping in momentarily to today's next video.
What are some
And this one is on red flags. So let's see what this woman has to say.
weirdly specific things that you consider to be red flags in men?
Okay, I've been waiting for this one. Okay, now I've been single for a while, and it is because of this one question. Believing that
Yeah, guys. So she's single because of this one question.
this question is the reason it's my coping mechanism, and please don't make me feel bad about it because I will cry. I'm very sensitive. Now, this works great on first dates, dating apps, whatever you need to do. You ask this question. Backed into a corner, no weapons allowed. How many 7-year-olds do you think you could fight before they overpower you?
And this is so ridiculous, okay? Girls will say, oh yeah, I've got all these weird red flags and things that a man must do before we get in a relationship, right? Don't believe any of this stuff. I don't care if she talks about zodiac signs. I don't care if she talks about, oh, she's got to have these requirements. And man, I remember, right, when I was younger, I saw this guy, and he was really interested in this one particular girl. You know, the whole one-eyedest thing that we talk about over this side of the internet, right? And you know, he was very interested in this one particular girl, and she would always blow him off and say things like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've just got a bunch of walls up from my previous relationships, and you know, but keep trying, you'll eventually break those walls down." So he'd invest in her, you know, give her attention and do all these nice things for her to try and get her to like him. And the funny part about this, guys, is all these quote-unquote requirements that women have for men, they don't actually exist. They exist for the dudes that they're not interested in, should I say. Okay, so if you're a man, you're getting, you've got to do X, Y, Z, right? Oh, I need a man who's committed and a guy who looks after me and does all these kind of things, guys. All of those boundaries, walls, standards, whatever you want to call them that these ladies have, they don't apply to men that they're actually attracted to. So, long story short here, guys, don't be chasing these girls thinking that you have to jump through hoops, because if she was interested in you, those hoops wouldn't even exist. So let's just continue onwards with that in mind.
His answer will tell you everything you need to know about him. If he thinks the question's weird, red flag. If he responds with like 1,000, 500, a million, infinity, red flag. If he responds with anything other than an actual answer that he genuinely thinks he could fight off, or like a question about the rules or a rebuttal question, red flag. And that's it.
Yeah, guys, just as simple as that. Ask a just totally ridiculous random question, and if he thinks it's ridiculous and stupid, then that's a red flag. You see, girls giving, and I cannot stress this enough. I feel like I have to point this out every time, because you guys can't kind of see. You can see my mouse here, but off the screen, again, this has over 300,000 likes on it, so it's been viewed well over 1 million times. Right, and girls will literally give this advice to one another. Oh, he needs to pass this question. He needs to pass this test. He needs to solve this. He needs to do that. Right, and they'll provide all of these really obscure situations and questions and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, man, watching girls give dating advice to each other is some of the most ridiculous stuff I've ever seen. And one of the complaints that ladies get when they watch videos like mine or anywhere over this side of the internet is they'll often say, "Oh, well, how come when I say the exact same thing, people don't believe me, but when men say the exact same thing, then it's totally fine," right? You'll notice that kind of common thought here on this side of the internet, and that's because a lot of times what the girls are actually saying is different marginally from what the men are saying. Okay, for example, men might say, "I don't want a woman who does X, Y, Z," and the women will go, "Oh yeah, I got you. Men don't want a woman who does A, X, Y, Z," right? And they're adding pieces, and they don't understand where men are coming from. It's something very interesting to watch, because objectively they are not saying the same things. So even when they give dating advice like this, right? And let's just say, for example, it might appear correct on first glance. Oftentimes when you think about it, it's really not. It's like this pseudo bullcrap that just absolutely doesn't work. And just bear in mind, I want you to realize that at the start of this video, so let's just go through like just the start here one more time.
Okay, now I've been single for a while, and it is because of this one question.
She explicitly says that she's single because of this one question. This is what I'm talking about, guys. When you watch these kind of videos, you can't take them at, you can't be listening to them. And this is what popular culture looks like at the moment. Again, this is like on the front page, I believe. Like it has to be. It has 300,000 likes on it. It's got the hashtag dating, hashtag red flag. Like, people actually listen to this advice. But let's continue momentarily onto the next video.
If he touches you on the first date, he's not that into you. A guy who's 100% into you will be slightly scared of you.
She's not wrong. Guys who are intent on what they want and making sure they're going to get it when they want it are going to try right away to see if it's going to happen. Have you heard the term microaggressions? Guys who just want to have sex with you aren't going to immediately push you into a bed. They're going to escalate the level of touch to see how much you're going to take. How much?
No, you see, let's just address the first part of this, okay? So this is what she's talking about. She's talking about physical escalation here, which is where, if you go on a date with a girl, you should immediately give her a hug and kind of see where she's at and whether she's physically attracted to you and stuff like this. And the reason why this advice is recommended is because a lot of men at the moment in 2021 are going on dates where they go on 6 dates and they think that, oh, maybe the next time is when I can get a peck on the cheek, or we can hang out outside of dinner where I'm paying $50, $100 here and there. Like, what's happening is men are going on a lot of dates and they're wasting a lot of their damn time, right? So the advice on this side of the internet is, guys, just figure out if she's interested in you nice and quick. If she's not interested in you, then fine, go your own way and just kind of leave the situation. Notice the way this is framed, okay? selfish, short-term thinkers. So, guys, let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase this. If you try to figure out whether or not a girl is interested in you or not directly, then you're selfish. If you don't want to waste your time, if you don't want to pay for dates and waste your money, then you're selfish. Right? If you don't want to give up your attention for free, your validation for free, talk to her about her problems, help her solve her problems, then you're selfish. I want you guys to notice from the outset, like, how backwards this type of crap is. So if you're a guy and you're trying to understand, hey, is she physically attracted to me? I'm going to give her a hug and see if she's interested. Hey, that's selfish, right? Because you're supposed to sit there like a naive little boy, right, and go through all of these hoops, and maybe eventually, down the line, you can be end game material, right? You can be that. It's so disgusting to me, man. Where anytime a man wants to have self-respect, save his own time, it's considered selfish and short-term thinking, right? I don't know about you, gentlemen, but I find that to be, quite reprehensible.
Immediately push you into a bed. They're going to escalate the level of touch to see how much you're going to take,
No, not how much you're going to. Notice how she's framing it as though she's a victim, right? We as men, we do this so we can tell how interested you are. Right. So, gentlemen, let me just try and explain this a little bit better. The advice on this side of the internet for those men who are choosing to date is, if you go on a date, you should give a girl a hug. Don't give her a handshake and all that kind of stuff, and just physically escalate. And if any point she's not into it, just back off. And what that's doing is, so by the time, let's just say you guys are on your third date and you go in for a kiss, right? This is an experience that a lot of men have had, right? Where you go on a third date and you try and give her a kiss and she freaks the hell out because you haven't established anything physical at all. She thought, oh, we were just friends. So what? We went on 3 dates. You didn't try anything. So I just assumed we were friends. And girls will pull that card knowing full well you've wasted your time, your money, your energy on those previous 2 dates, right? So it's kind of like a method of weeding out or all this stuff. And notice how she plays herself as the victim. No, it's just dudes trying to quickly figure out, hey, is she interested in me or is she not? And this is the kind of crap, right? And this only applies for the dudes who are dating. I know a lot of guys are watching this right now who are not dating, kind of laughing at this situation. But this is the method used to save guys a lot of time in 2021.
you're going to accept, how much you're going to say yes to. Their intention is to get you into bed and they don't want to waste any time. If you're going to turn down those little touches, if you're not going to say yes to a first kiss on the first date, they're going to say goodbye. I'm here to get what I want when I want it. Men who are intent on a committed long-term relationship who look at you and go, ooh, something about that girl, don't want to risk turning you off. Don't want to risk offending your boundaries.
Yeah, guys, just play it safe, Don't offend anyone. Go on 6 dates, get to know her, become her friend. You see, all this advice is just absolutely terrible. It doesn't work for men at all. If you're a guy watching this right now, hey, feel free to go on a bunch of dates and get to know her as a person and become her friend first and do all this kind of stuff. You're more than welcome to. I just noticed this, by the way. So I'm pretty sure these are her her dating books, or are these just quotes? But this one right here says, "No more a-holes." You see, what these girls will do, man, it's so funny, is they will spend their entire lives, their entire young dating lives, in their 20s, often 30s, dealing with the bad boys. The guys who don't waste their time, who treat girls, on dates like, hey, either take it or leave it, and if you're not interested, I'm gone. They will spend their time, dating these men, and they will try and shame men into going on dates and giving them more than these girls deserve. Gentlemen, these are dinner dates where you're out here spending $100 and doing all this stuff, guys. That's some girlfriend privileged type stuff. It is 2021, guys. It is fast food dating at the moment. These girls want to go on 5 dates a week and expect you to pay. Get out of here, man. Ridiculous.
They're much more cautious and careful in their approach. They're respectful.
If he touches you,
About that girl. Don't want to risk turning you off. Don't want to risk offending your boundaries. They are much more cautious and careful in their approach. They're respectful.
I love all this talk about boundaries, right? Because, guys, I personally, I'm a huge fan of boundaries. I think that people should have boundaries. I think that they're incredibly important. A lot of men who grow up without fathers, and women who grow up without fathers as well, they lack boundaries, right? So this is why you'll see A lot of dudes who grow up without fathers, they'll be codependent or something like that, or they'll come out with, they have a higher likelihood of getting in prison and stuff like that. They have behavioral issues because missing a father is, an incredibly detrimental thing for a kid. And one of the consequences of missing a father, is that people grow up without boundaries. Now, if you want to apply that to the girls, a lot of girls who grow up without fathers, I mean, we already know the stories of that, right? You end up working in certain types of clubs and all that kind of stuff, okay? I think boundaries are incredibly important. Now, here's the thing. These girls want to rock around to 40, and they want to talk about all the boundaries that they have. And I mean, we're going to use this poster in the background as an example right here. So take a look at this. This up here, it says no more a-holes, right? So girls like this, right, they won't have boundaries early in life with Chad, with the guy that they're attracted to. And yet they expect good men to come along and put up with all of her boundaries. Right, so she's done all these wild things in her 20s with dudes who didn't have to pay for a single date, right? And yet what she's expecting men to do is, later in her life is to take the time to get to know her and, go through all of these hoops and respect her boundaries. Like these girls, let me put it to you simply, they don't respect themselves and yet they expect men to respect them. That's what it comes down to. But let's continue on to today's last video.
When a guy stops talking to you, do this. Move on and find a guy who always wants to talk to you. Here's the problem. You're disappointed that it didn't work out, and I get that, but you've got to stop imagining a future with everyone you start talking to. The reality is a lot of interactions aren't going to work out. And if you expect everything to work out, you're going to be constantly disappointed. So take this approach. Set zero expectations for the first 2 months of talking to a guy. If it's going to fail, it's most likely to happen then. And only start thinking about future when you have evidence that he's going to stick around. If you like this tip, follow for more.
Videos like this, they honestly make me laugh, guys, right? Because a lot of men have realized that I can lie to these girls, right? I can dress up in my suit, I can whiten my teeth, comb my hair, grow some facial hair, if I've got an okay jawline, I can collect, a lot of the single ladies who have cats who don't understand how dating works. I just find that incredibly funny. But one of the points I wanted to address here with what he said is, we're going to wait for the text to come up here. You're disappointed that it didn't work out, and I get that, right? But you've got to stop imagining a future with everybody that you start talking to. Here's the funny thing, guys. These girls who complain about the fact that they're so caring, right? Oh, how come I always imagine a future with him? Right? Oh, I'm just so stuck because I always imagine a future with someone and then it doesn't work out. You notice how the only futures they imagine are the ones with dudes who are not interested in them? Like, I swear, the dudes who make these videos that look like this, another example of this is Matthew Hussey here on YouTube, right? Not throwing anything derogatory at him before YouTube decides to strike my channel. I just find what his channel is, guys, is it's kind of like being a snake oil salesman. Right? Because these ladies will go, oh, look at this handsome man finally siding with us. He understands. And all these guys are doing, right, is they're getting on here and they're removing accountability for the ladies. And so all the ladies look up to them. Yeah, it wasn't my fault that I imagined the future with all these guys.
Does she have money?
Who weren't interested in me. It wasn't my fault. And for that reason, they love it, right? Because these guys, by definition of being a dating coach, because that's what that guy is, by the way, he's a dating coach. Girls will love it whenever a semi-handsome man just removes accountability for them. But let's continue on to today's stories, guys. So let's take a look at this first one here. And this is a Reddit story. And we're going to be reading these to kind of wrap up today's show. So, guys, as we've continued through today's story, gentlemen, feel free to leave your thoughts and your comments. This video, I think, will be a fairly contentious one. A lot to be said about it. So, guys, make sure you leave your own thoughts and opinions to these sorts of things. It's always interesting to see what you gentlemen have to say in the comments. But let's jump into today's first Reddit story here. And it is titled, Sad But Not Broken. I haven't been on in a while. I thought I had a handle on this dating thing. I was weeding out red flags like it was me job. Asserting my worth and values and boundaries, then I met him. Educated, intellectual, attentive, blah, blah, blah. Long, boring story short, he isn't ready to be exclusive. I made my position crystal clear and ended it with confidence. When he made it clear he wasn't there. Flash forward a week, he came back around. I reiterated my position again. Long story short, he's still not sure. I haven't seen him since the first time I laid out my boundaries, and I won't. But damn it, I am sad. He checks many of my boxes. I utterly understand he's on his own path and don't judge him, not wanting exclusivity, knowing his past. I am truly just sad. Sad that I asserted my worth, knowing it's the right thing, but missed out on the pre-me, knowing my worth, pseudo-happiness. It's a thing. Not being able to be who you were before has its sadness because you pass the gratification in the hopes there is more one day. Sad that, damn, dude, what more could you ask for? I'm here, the whole package and more. You're really this stupid? And sad because of the what could have been if we were both ready for it all. And I know I am romanticizing, and I working hard to ensure myself he was a lesson on what I deserve and what I truly want and am worth. Man, these ladies can say to themselves, I'm the complete package, I'm worth this, I'm worth that. They can say it until they're blue in the face. It doesn't make it true. Right? What's happening is these girls are going out chasing dudes, right? And the guys are not committing. And then the girls are stubbornly saying, hey, you know what? It's him if he doesn't see how much I'm worth. I mean, look at this sentence right here before we continue, gentlemen. I'm here, the whole package and more. You're really this stupid. Notice how the framing, right, is always that, hey, if you're a guy and you're not committing, it couldn't just be because you're not interested or anything like that, or maybe she's not all you thought she was or something like that. No. It's got to be because you as the guy, you're obviously stupid for not seeing what she's worth, supposedly. Just notice the framing in all of this stuff, guys. And, people who watch my videos, I don't expect many of you to agree with what I say at all. It's just, guys, like, stuff like this is so crazy to me, man, because it's refusing to acknowledge that other people have preferences, right? It's like, you don't set how much you're worth, okay? Look, you can sit here again and say that you're the most beautiful girl in the world all you want, but if men aren't choosing you, you can say you're the most kind, empathetic woman, you can say that you're feminine and you're fantastic, but if people aren't buying, it's not their fault, it's yours. Okay, let's continue. So let's have a look at the rest of this here. And I know I am romanticizing, and I'm working hard to ensure myself that he was a lesson on what I deserve and what I truly want and am worth. And I am working hard to remind myself that it will take time, and that every low-value situation I avoid brings me closer and leaves room for what I deserve. Goodness me, man. I just got to pause here again. I feel like I have to take a breather every 2 seconds I hear the words I deserve, guys. Holy hell, nobody deserves anything. Like, where does this... and this is something else that girls will say to each other, okay? Girls have this habit of, like, telling each other comforting lies rather than telling each other the truth. And that's a really sad thing to say, and I don't say that to be mean, and I don't say that to be rude, okay? But what a lot of these girls are doing is they're giving advice that doesn't help each other. Just because it feels good, like the advice feels good, doesn't actually mean that you're helping the person. Right, so let's continue onwards here. Also, I really like talking with him, being with him, the honesty and candor, the intellectual and physical match. I know he isn't, he doesn't want to be, and I won't settle for less than it in every way. But I'm so sad. I know I am more than he could ever have hoped for, better than he's ever had, and I know he wants so much less. I know I'm walking away with my head high, but I am so damn sad about it. Edit. Just to be clear, since the first actual real conversation about exclusivity, he's been honest. Wasn't looking for it, not ready to try it again. While I called BS to an extent, yeah, because why would you believe... When guys say that they're not interested, these girls have to say to themselves, oh, he's lying. He's lying to himself. No, maybe men just aren't interested in you. I know, crazy concept there, but let's continue. While I called BS to an extent, I also acknowledge his past is similar to mine and just being wary and wanting to keep peace. I do not feel like he is holding out for something better. I do feel he wants less, if nothing at all, and I get that he is his own person with his own narrative. When he came back around, I called him out, and I still don't get the sense he's trying to play me. Possibly confused on knowing what he has with a woman like me and not wanting to lose it or commit. So I know I do rate him in the jerk category because I was clear and made myself clear again. Anything now is on me though. He backed off, I guess, but I miss him. I won't settle for less than exclusive and won't see him otherwise. But it hurts. I'm so sad that it hurts. And stories like this, gentlemen, they're so funny, okay? Because these girls who write this kind of stuff, oh, you better believe that all these ladies have been with dudes and settled for less, shall we say, in their 20s. Right, they've been with these dudes, they've had fun and everything, but now when it rocks around time to get someone to look after their kids or, you know, supplement their lifestyle, you know, and just the sheer amount of shaming that goes on men to try and get them to commit and try and get them to do things is absolutely ridiculous, right? Like this stuff in modern day society is so incredibly common. Now we're going to continue momentarily to the comments here before we wrap up today's video. So let's see what some people have had to say to this. I know you want to believe this guy is high value, but he is not. He wouldn't have started something with you knowing he can't commit if he was. Move on knowing that he was hoping you would stay without commitment and continue casually seeing you while entertaining other women. Just because he says one thing doesn't mean it's true. Men love white lies. Him telling you something doesn't mean it's true. Don't think you lost out on anything. Blocked, deleted, gone. All of these comments are 100% on point. He is what he is, and that's definitely not high value. Thank you for all the support. And guys, we're going to wrap up today's show on that thought there, which is, hey, if you don't commit to a girl, you're not high value. Only low value men reject women. But guys, we're going to leave today's show there. I'm getting an absolute headache reading and watching this stuff. Thank you for your submissions today, gentlemen, and we're going to be wrapping up today's show there. So as always, make sure you come and join the locals and the Discord link in the description, gentlemen. If the show gets taken down for whatever reason, you'll be notified through those two channels. Both of them are totally free to join as well. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, guys, locals also has an option for that. But we are going to be calling it there. So as always, guys, make sure you're taking care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you boys in the next video. Peace.